Hello, everyone. My name is Blaise Stanicic, Associate Director of Compliance Training at Trace, and your host for today's session, a guide to Trace partner firms, highlighting the benefits of the Trace Partner Firm Network. I'm pleased to introduce our speaker for today's session, Emma Rathmann, our legal researcher and partner firm project manager here at Trace. As part of the legal research team, Emma assists several departments within Trace in providing legal details, rules, and regulations that are relevant within the compliance sphere. Emma also oversees the Trace Prize for Investigative Reporting, an annual award given to those who are leaders in the field of journalism, fighting to uncover fraud and corrupt practices. Before working with Trace, Emma worked as a grants management assistant and holds a bachelor's degree from Northwestern University, as well as a Juris Doctorate from Boston College School of Law. We are very excited to have Emma share her expertise today. For today's session, and as the title suggests, Emma will also share insights into our partner firm program and the multitude of ways in which you can use the details shared by our 140 plus partner firms that provide our team with our country bulletins and our gifts and hospitality guidelines. Emma will also provide suggestions on how to align your compliance program with local laws and regulations throughout the globe based on these partner firm details. Please also note that today's session will largely be driven by you and your questions of Emma and the team. This will be a short session overviewing the overall program, but we would really like to hear from you, hear your questions, and help you and better guide you when you are going through these partner firm details. Thank you so much, everyone, again. And after that introduction, I'd like to thank Emma once again for agreeing to lead the presentation. And we'll go ahead and turn it over to her to share her insights on the partner firms.
Thank you for the introduction. As mentioned, my name is Emma Rathmann, and I am a legal researcher and the partner firm project manager for Trace International. I also manage member support for Trace Law Firm and SME members and oversee the Trace Prize. I have been with Trace since August of 2022. As a partner firm project manager, I connect with Trace International partner firms to complete the annual update of country materials, a country bulletin, a gifts and hospitality guideline, and if necessary, their partner firm profile. Welcome everyone to this webinar on the Trace Partner Firm Program. During this session, I hope to provide you with an understanding of what is captured in the partner firm materials, show you where to find the documents, and share some recent legislative updates we have seen in a handful of countries. The Partner Firm Program houses materials for over 140 global markets and is made up of both large firms and smaller boutique institutions. A pro bono commitment from our partner firms, we ask every firm to update their country materials annually. The materials we ask our firms to update are the country bulletin and the gifts and hospitality guideline. Should the firm go through any changes with location, name, or contact information, we would also have them update their partner firm profile. The updating process usually takes place from October through the new year, with the bulk of updates coming in around December and January. Our hope with having updates occur at the end of the year is to give our partner firms the opportunity to capture any end-of-year legislative changes that would fit into the country bulletin and gifts and hospitality guidelines that our members can access. Throughout the year, if we have a notable update to relevant legislation, we do ask our partner firms if they have the capacity to update the materials to keep our resources as up to date as possible. If the firm does not have the time to do so, we can gather from them something akin to a client alert to share with members who are curious about the legislative and regulatory changes in the region. The goal of the program is to share practical, actionable items with our members so they can navigate changing global regulations that could have significant implications for international operations. The questions we pose to our partner firms in the country bulletins and gifts and hospitality guidelines can act as helpful points of reference for members who are tasked with knowing and understanding local law expectations in their roles as multinational corporations. Our hope is that these resources, coupled with the International Legal Network, can give members the information they need to make informed decisions related to international business operations and ensure compliance with local law regulations and legislation. All of these documents can be found on the Trace Resource Center, navigating from the home page to topics to geographic risk and guidance, and then selecting either the annual country bulletins or the annual gifts and hospitality guidelines from the drop-down menu. The first document we're going to look at is the country bulletin. This document outlines some of the key questions companies must consider before working with commercial intermediaries. Accessed through the Topics tab on the homepage of the Resource Center, the Country Bulletin addresses topics such as institutional framework, provides definitions of commercial intermediary and government official, shares details on the reporting structure within the country, and dedicates a section to private commercial bribery. We do try to gather local language translations for these documents, and you can see from this slide that once you navigate to a specific country document, you can click on the Link to Subdocuments button in the lower left of the page to view the translated version. Other topics covered in the longer country bulletin include compensation restrictions for payments to a commercial intermediary, the obligation to disclose the commercial intermediary's compensation for sales to the government, restriction on distributors or resellers, whether there is a revolving door requirement for government officials, if the government official must wait a specific period of time before working as a commercial intermediary promoting sales to the government, and lobbying and internal control expectations for companies operating in the country. The next relevant resource is the Gifts and Hospitality Guideline. This document highlights some key questions companies should consider in connection with provision of gifts, meals, lodging, and entertainment to public officials. Also found through the Topics tab on the homepage of the Resource Center, these guides address topics as they relate to government officials. After providing a definition, the firm is tasked with giving guidance for how companies should navigate meals, travel, and gifts restrictions imposed by regulations and legislation when operating in other countries. As with the Country Bulletin, we do try to provide local language translations, and those can be found through the Subdocuments link in the lower left section of the page. This resource is particularly useful as different regions will have different definitions of what constitutes a government official. And within each country, there are different thresholds for what is an appropriate gift, if there are restrictions on the value of meals that can be provided to government officials, or any regulations, requirements, or laws that apply to inviting government officials to events that are sponsored by a company or partially sponsored by a company, and the company reimburses air travel, food, and lodging. The partner firm is asked to not only answer the question, but share specific regulations that companies must abide by when interacting with government officials. This document ends with a comment section where the partner firm can share other relevant details they think important to the full understanding of gifts and hospitality guidelines in the country. For example, our partner firm for Mexico was sure to include in their comment box that establishing a policy for these topics, providing gifts, meals, entertainment, and travel expenses to government officials and third parties, as well as having an approval procedure and the participation and supervision of the compliance department, will mitigate the risk for the company. The final document we ask our partner firms to provide is the partner firm profile. This resource gives background information on the firm, practice area expertise, location, contact information, and history of the firm. It includes the link to the firm's website, and then within the profile, there lives more detailed information about the legal counsel that members can interact with. This gives our members the incredible opportunity to communicate directly with the partner firm. All contact information is shared on the Resource Center on the front page of the profile. This resource is one of the most valuable parts of the partner firm program. The ability to connect our members with a well-rounded and expansive network of lawyers with knowledge of their country-specific anti-corruption and anti-bribery regulations allows for our members to ask their questions directly of the people preparing the documents housed on our Resource Center. It is a way to not only get tailored responses to your questions, but it provides the opportunity to build your own network within this legal community, especially if you're looking to learn more about other countries, or perhaps your company is investigating the possibility of expanding. So how do these resources help your compliance program? These documents are easily accessible through the Trace Resource Center. Access comes through Trace membership. And with the added benefit of firm contact information, members can easily get in touch with the firm with any questions or clarifying comments they might have after reviewing the materials. With the ability to download the resources as PDFs, members can easily navigate to and review any changes after the updates are pulled through each year. We also work with our partner firms to provide white papers on topics of interest, blog posts on the new Trace International blog, Bribery Matters, and share updates should a new regulation or piece of legislation come into effect. We also schedule webinars with partner firms so they can speak to our member community about relevant changes that have occurred or possible developments on the horizon. We are constantly looking to expand our partner firm program and our international legal network. So if you have a firm you have worked with in the past, or you are hoping to gather more information about a specific country not yet included in our Resource Center, please send me an email. My contact information will be available. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to call attention to a few updates from the last year and even from the last few months. The first on the screen is a screenshot from a client alert pulled together by our partner firm in Kuwait. This is relating to the ratification of the Foreign Company Amendments Law. Foreign companies now have direct, unhindered access to the Kuwait market and are able to establish branches in Kuwait without the need for a commercial agent. The other photo here is grabbed from the Trace International blog Bribery Matters and was written by our partner firm in Australia about the new Crimes Legislation Amendment combating Foreign Bribery Act 2024. This amendment has introduced a new indictable offense for corporations that fail to prevent foreign bribery by their associates, thus holding companies directly liable for the foreign bribery activities of their employees, external contractors, agents, and subsidiaries. The partner firm for Australia has kindly agreed to update their country bulletin so that our members can see the potential impacts of this amendment for the coming year. Some other updates to go through are a 2023 update to Scottish regulations with the Procurement Act, passed in 2023 and coming into effect in 2024. This act provides that any devolved Scottish authority within the definition of the act is an excluded authority for the purposes of the act. And so in terms of procurement in Scotland, procuring bodies will need to consider whether they fall within that definition to determine if the act applies to their procurements. In the Scotland Country Bulletin and in others, the firm has provided direct links to the regulation they are referencing if you wish to learn more about potential implications for your business. Another 2023 update comes from England and Wales in the form of the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Act of 2023, introducing a new offense under Section 199 that holds large companies and organizations liable for fraud committed by their associates, with the definition of associate being broader than the definition under the Bribery Act of 2010. The final update is one from the UAE, the Cabinet Resolution number 79 of 2023 on the Code of Professional Conduct Ethics of Public Service in the federal government. This provides general guidelines on how professional values, ethical standards that all government employees in the UAE are to abide by when dealing with their superiors, colleagues, or service beneficiaries. The code prohibits conflicts of interest and directs employees to avoid any situations where duties of their office are inconsistent with their personal interest. It also requires employees disclose any potential conflicts of interest. While these are just a few of the most recent updates, I urge you to check out the materials on the Resource Center to learn more. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or to the partner firms directly. And with that, we have come to the end of the presentation on the partner firm program. If you have any questions, there will be a Q&A session right after this. But if you don't have a chance to ask your question live, please do send me an email. I'm happy to help in any way I can. And thank you so much for attending the webinar.